It is time to drop the puck for some biscuits and penalties. I am your starting goalie, and joining me as usual is Cobra. How we doing, Cobra?
Well, I'm doing fine, Mr. Starting Goaltender. I mean, you forgot to mention your name.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
Alex, starting goalie. My bad.
there we go. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Not gonna lie. Um always hiccups with us. Always hiccups with us. But yeah, I'm pretty good.
That's good to hear. And before we jump into all the hockey news and action, I do want to talk briefly about the passing of legendary New York Rangers sports writer Larry Brooks. He passed away at 75 years old from a brief cancer battle. He was known in the Rangers community, I think, as a writer and a player for the Rangers, but he won a couple prizes for the New York Post and was a world renowned writer for the Rangers, a big part of the Rangers organization. I don't keep up with sports writing. I don't really read articles like that, but hearing someone as legendary as him pass away is kind of a hard hit for the Rangers organization. So prayers out to his family and the Rangers organization, and hopefully someone else can follow in Larry Brooks' footsteps to write for the New York Rangers.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully someone can fill those legendary shoes. But at the same time, it is still hard when someone like that, you know, is a once in generational writer, and then they just end up, you know, being being there for a long time, and then they end up disappearing. It's hard to move forward, but it you can move forward.
Definitely agree. So the big topic I want to go over is the overseas hockey talk right now. Currently, they had a game in Sweden today. The Penguins took on the Nashville Predators. Predators won 2-1 in overtime. And what the NHL is hoping to do at the Olympics in 2026, as we know, the 2026 Winter Olympics are in, I think, Italy. They are hosting a Olympic hockey tournament, and there are six teams or six cities, excuse me, have put bids in to host the 2028 European World Cup. Do you have any predictions of what these cities could be? And do you think we will have more games outside of Sweden in terms of the NHL after the Olympics and the 2028 European World Cup?
Um, One city that immediately comes to mind, staying in that European region, is Helsinki. You have Helsinki, Finland. You have Pardubice, Czech Republic. You would definitely have some places. Let's see where else. You could also do one in Belfast in Ireland. Because they do have hockey in the United Kingdom. But you know the big two off the top of my head, you have Helsinki, Finland. You have Pardubice, Czech Republic. Slovenia, Slovakia. Uh, you could also do it in Moscow. Although less say about Vladimir Putin, the better. Or even somewhere in a KHL arena. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a couple in Japan, because Japan does ice hockey. So does China, but I don't think China is gonna do anything. You could also do Seoul, South Korea, but there's a lot of options for overseas ice hockey. But in my opinion, the top two in my mind, other than Stockholm, Sweden, are Helsinki and Pardubice.
Definitely great options for what particular cities could be a part. I do agree. I think they'll go more in terms of around the Sweden area, like UK, Finland, Poland, maybe Germany ish,
Yeah,
depending.
I mean, and the main reason why I said Pardubice instead of anywhere else in the Czech Republic is because Pardubice is a well known for being a hockey city, especially considering that Hall of Famer Dominic Hasek is from Pardubice.
Definitely
So
interesting.
yeah, I think Yager is also from Yarmir Yager is also from Pardubice as well.
Of course, yeah, and then this 2020 World Cup is also coming off of the success of the Four Nations tournament that we had earlier this year that me and Cole both mentioned that we thought was the best tournament of the All-Star break of any sport this year because it was. It was what, a month or two of high stake, fast paced, hard hitting hockey, and it ended with I think it was Canada winning it all.
Not
In that
just that,
tournament.
not just that. It was talked about. It was talked about so highly that you had people who did not invest their time into hockey actually start investing their time in hockey. That's how good the Four Nations was. You can't understate that. The Four Nations games were great for hockey, great for the sport, and great for sports in general.
Definitely,
Because
it's a big question in 2027. Are they going to bring back the Four Nations after the World Cup and the Olympics in 2026? Because obviously, the Olympics, you can't have the Four Nations because the World Cup or the Olympics are in the middle of the summer. But I hope they bring back in 2027 and in the future. It was a great tournament. The All Star break, I think, but hockey's dumb. The skills challenge, and you have 3v3 hockey. I think it's not entertaining at all. I think the Four Nations was a great way to introduce new hockey fans to the game of hockey if they haven't watched any hockey yet. Obviously, you know
the
Ovechkin and Pasternak and Marchand because of the Four Nations tournament.
the problem with all the All Star games lately is here's an interesting idea for the All Star game. If you're gonna still have the All Star game, how about do like for the instead of the skills competition? I mean, to be fair, you can actually still have the skills competition, but here's one. How about a celebrity pro am like before the game?
Oh,
Have celebrities come in, compete with some NHL legends of the past who can still go, and have it be like a pro am. Celebrities, celebrities have a team, and the NHL have a team as NHL legends. That would be interesting to have with the All Star game.
I definitely do agree. Um, Now, obviously, Gary Bettman controls the NHL. I think he has done a great job controlling the NHL when he does. I think he
No, Bettman has not done a great job. He is bane of the earth. He is as bad as Goodell.
maybe I'm just missing something here with how bad
You're
Bettman
missing
is.
a lot. You're missing a lot. You know, Gary Bettman is the reason why the Brett Hull toe in the crease was allowed to stand. No, Gary Bettman is not a good commissioner. No, bad Alex.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I know. It just seems like from the interviews I've seen of him, he is prideful of the Four Nations and expanding and trying to expand teams. And for the love of God, he needs to stop trying to bring teams back because we do not need old logos to come back and old teams to come back because we have too many East Coast teams. We got to go more west and more up north.
I disagree with having the old logos come back. I disagree, but I do agree with trying old locations like Atlanta. I do agree with you on that. But some of the old logos were good. If that makes sense. I mean you can't deny that the Screaming Eagle of the Capitals you miss. You missed the Screaming Eagle.
Oh yeah, I want the jersey of that so badly. I want it
Yeah,
so badly.
yeah. So don't say you hate old logos. The Screaming Eagle's coming back as an alternate. You love that. You love that design anyway.
I
So
do.
yeah. So shut up.
It just seems like Bateman is so like uptight with like going back to what the NHL used to be with old teams that moved and relocated to change names,
The
like the Thrashers and so on and so forth.
the problem Bettman has is Bettman wants to increase his main thing, his main fetish, other than rapid expansion, is increased scoring. He does everything that he can to increase scoring so that someone can potentially topple Gretzky or topple Ovechkin. Bedman wants the NHL to go back to the days where a goaltender would have a save percentage of 880 and he was considered elite.
That's
That is Bettman. That is all Gary Bettman. All right, and here's the thing: goaltenders are better athletes. The equipment is better. The butterfly style much improved. If you even looked at a goalie's chest protector, if that makes sense, the goalie chest and arm nowadays is made of a lot more tougher material than it was, than it was back in the past. Back in the past, it was felt. It was actually a felt pad. I actually learned this from Jim Craig, and if all of a sudden your ears perked up on the name Jim Craig, you should. But Jim Craig, who was a hockey legend, basically said that goalie pads back in his day in the 80s, in the time Bettman wants, were felt pad, and nowadays goalies are block with their chest, will block with their whole body. That was one of the reasons why scoring increased. Was there wasn't much protection in the chest, there wasn't much protection in the arms. It wasn't really that good for protection. Nowadays, goalies wear all that gear and they're built like a fortress. So there, and material improves, technologies improve, and even the athlete improves. So it's a moot point. I know Bettman wants to keep doing it, but stop. Just stop.
Also, goalies nowadays are way more flexible.
Oh yeah.
Vasilevsky literally stretches in a split because that's how flexible he is.
Yeah.
And guys like, Troy Lincoln of the Capitals can slide across the goal in half a millisecond and block a blindside open net shot because he's that quick.
Yeah.
Or he can dive across that fast because of how quick he can get off his foot, So the athleticism has doubled or even tripled from, 25, 30, 40 years ago, where the guys were just given really thin chest pads and just leg pads, and all they had to do was just drop to their legs and hope the puck hits their chest or hits their face mask.
Now, granted, goaltenders are not as flexible as, say, Dominik Hasek or even Arturs Urbe. But they're still incredibly flexible and incredibly agile, and you just got to be impressed.
Definitely for sure. And speaking of Alexander Ovechkin, I know we keep talking about him, but he has to be talked about because
Homer.
he hit
Homer.
900.
Homer.
He hit 901 goals, and he is.
Forgive our host, he has Capitals bias. So that's why he talks about Ovechkin so much. He has Capitals bias.
I mean, when you have Ovechkin, who has stretched the goal record in his potential last year of his career as he's entering possible retirement, you have to talk about him. You have to. I mean, he's competing to make this record impossible to break. Whether Gary Bettman wants it or not, that record is untouchable until Ovechkin retires. 900
goals, to me, it just seems radical to me that a goal scorer could get to 900, especially someone who plays that type of style that Ovechkin does. Ovechkin plays a move fast, hit even faster, Cam Neely's type of style, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's a fast player, hard hitting player. When he gets the puck, he's going to shoot, and he's going to shoot in spots you can't block because he knows where the gaps are. He knows how to get open. He just sits and waits. He basically just stalks his prey and waits for the opening. And when he shoots, he scores. Not all the time, but when he does, it's in radical fashion. And obviously
Yes.
nowadays that fashion is not played upon anymore because guys are more tactical and more like Connor Bedard style. When you try to get up close, you get up close, give and goes type of wrist shots. But Ovechkin has been in the league for a long time. He's this, I think,
He's been
slightly
it.
older than Sidney Crosby, who entered.
Yes. He was in the league 1 year before Sidney Crosby. 1 year before.
Yeah, so Crosby and Ovechkin know how they play. Ovechkin knows how he plays. Crosby knows that he plays too, and they have a relationship. They have a friendship and a rivalry. When Ovechkin hit the record and passed Gretzky, they gave him a Rolex because they appreciated and knew how hard that record was to pass. Because Gretzky was like, "Yeah, no one's touching me," and then when Ovechkin got close, Gretzky was like, "Holy crap! Let's do this, Ovechkin. Pass me. I want to see it." And he was there
Yeah.
in New York when he
Yeah.
passed it in April.
Yeah, and it's not like Wayne Gretzky didn't want his records to be eclipsed. Gretzky was as excited to see his record even get close to it, much less eclipsed. So, kudos to the great one. There's a reason why he is the great one.
Definitely 100% agree. And before we move on to our standings, let's take a minute to take a break from our affiliate of tonight's episode with our friends over at Duke Cannon Supply Company. With Christmas around the corner, you need those stocking stuffers. So why not grab some Christmas style scents from Duke Cannon Supply Company? They have lumps of coal, peppermint flavors, and so much more. And if you order now, you can get a free brick of soap with over a $60 order. So what better time to stock up on stocking stuffers than right now with Duke Cannon Supply Company? If you guys do, use our link in our bio to support us here at the channel and our friends at Duke Cannon and get those stocking stuffers now before it's too late because Christmas is right here.
Absolutely. As Duke Cannon it prepares you for the Mariah Carey fall, they just want to wish you a Merry Sniffmas.
100%. And now on to the standings. Cobra, do you want to start with the Atlantic Division of the Eastern Conference?
Oh, of course. In first place, we have the Montreal Canadiens with 17 games played, and they have a 10-5-2 record with 22 points. The Ottawa Senators have played 18 games and are 9-5-4, also with 22 points. The Boston Bruins have played 19 games and 11-8. They have 22 points. The Detroit Red Wings are right in the middle. They played 17 games and are 10-7 with 20 points. The Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers are 9-7-1 with 19 points. The Tampa Bay Lightning have played 16 games and are 8-6-2. They have 18 points. In second to last are the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have played 18 games, are 8-2 with 18 points. And in last with 17 games, it's the Buffalo Sabres at 5-8-4 with 14 points.
Definitely a Canadian-led Atlantic Division. Very interesting out of the East with the Canadians and Senators.
They have Nick Suzuki, okay? Enough said. They have Nick Suzuki. That's all I need to say.
Under the Metropolitan Division, the New Jersey Devils are in lead. They are 12-4-1 with 25 points. The Carolina Hurricanes are right up their tail
Raleigh.
They arrived at tail at 11.
Please come to our games.
They are 11-5 with 22 points. The Pittsburgh Penguins are 9-5-4 with 22 points. New York Islanders are 9-6-2 with 20 points. New York Rangers are 9-7-2 with 20 points. The Flyers are 8-5-3 with 19 points. Columbus Blue Jackets are 9-7-1 with 19 points. And unfortunately, my Washington Capitals are last in the Metropolitan Division at 8-8-1 with 17 points. I don't know what we're doing, but we got to pick it up because we are the Metropolitan defending champs from last year that are falling apart at the start of the season.
All right. And I'm going to now to the West, and I am actually going to the Pacific Division because I've got a point to prove. At the top of the Pacific is the Anaheim Ducks. Wait, what? What? Tell me I did not just say that.
You did indeed.
The Anaheim Ducks, 17 games played, 11-5-1, 23 points. In second, the Los Angeles Kings, 9-5-4, 22 points, 18 games played. The Seattle Kraken, 17 games played, 8-4-5, 21 points. The Western Conference champion, Edmonton Oilers, are 8-7-4, 20 points. So I'm surprised they even have 20 points considering their goaltender is literally a piece of Swiss cheese. The Las Vegas LTIR Golden Knights, 7-4-5, 19 points. And also with 19 points, but have played 18 games, is the San Jose Sharks, and they are technically surging. 8-7-3, 19 points. Then you have the Vancouver Canucks, 8-9-1, 17 points with 18 games played. And the lowly Calgary Flames, 5-12-2, 12 points. They are cooked.
They're smoked out.
Yeah. Smoke weed every day.
And on to the Central Division of the Western Conference. The Colorado Avalanche have a firm 6-point lead over the Stars at 12-1-5 with 29 points. The Stars are creeping up on them, 11-4-3 with 25 points. Winnipeg Jets are 10-7 with 20 points. The Mammoths off to a fantastic start after introducing the mascot at 10-7 with 20 points. The Blackhawks are 8-5-4, also with 20 points. The Minnesota Wild are 7-7-4 with 18 points. The Predators are 6-9-4 with 16 points. And the surprise bottom feeder of the Central Division is the St. Louis Blues at 6-8-3 with 15 points. This is an interesting one, knowing that the Blues surged in the playoffs last year to get to where they did, and now they're eating the bottom of the Central, which is very shocking to me.
I wonder if that's because Binnington kept Ovechkin's 900th puck.
That's probably the curse. And the Central Division is loaded as well, from looks like from here. But that means we're on
Return to slap or suffer my
weekend.
curse. Had to.
The games of the weekend. So Cobra, what are 2 games on Saturday you are turning on and watching, and 1 game on Sunday you are turning on and watching this weekend?
You know what? Because it just popped up on the list, give me the Battle of Florida. Tampa Bay, the Panthers, let's go. And my second game, because it's in my market, I have the Philadelphia Flyers facing off against the Dallas Stars. That looks to be an interesting one. And on Sunday, Give me an original six matchup. Give me the Red Wings and the Rangers. I will gladly take that.
Definitely some interesting game choices for you, Cobra. But for me, my two games were Saturday. I'm tuning into the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens. I love
Nice.
this matchup. I love
A
Troy
classic original
McAvoy.
six. Classic original six
Oh yeah,
rivalry.
Troy McAvoy, David Pastrnak. This is gonna be a great game. 7 p.m. in Montreal. The Habs fans are going to be there in all red to show out. In my second game on Saturday, I'm tuning into a West Coast battle between the San Jose Sharks and the Seattle Kraken. Two red hot teams right now. And Michael Salvini has 10 goals. He has definitely gone off to a better start than last year in the second year with the team. And the Sharks are looking like they can get on a roll. And this game is going to determine the uprise or downfall of one of these teams, because we've seen it. Teams off the hard start, they lose a close game, and it ends one of two ways. And my one game for Sunday, I'm going to turn on probably the Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild at 6 p.m. I know the Wild don't look so hot, neither do the Golden Knights, but I'm excited to see Jack Eichel versus Kirill Kaprizov 2. While Kaprizov's a Hall of Famer, Jack Eichel is getting there, building his resume with the Stanley Cup championship back in like 2023 or 2022, I think it was. So that's a great game going on in Minnesota. I'm definitely excited to jump into that one.
Nice.
But with that being said, I would like to plug our other podcasts. We got the Lap Down the Racing podcast with our friend Greg in the off season now, but make sure you check out our last episode for the Championship 4. We have the Passing the Pigskin, our college football podcast with Tyler and our friend Billy over at New City. They talk all things college football, and we're about to hit the playoffs, so we're getting the CFP top 12 playoff brackets.
Playoffs? Playoffs? You kidding me here? Playoffs?
Playoffs? You talking about playoffs? Done and Turf, our baseball podcast. We had our last episode last week, recapping the World Series and the future of the AI strike zones. The Hard Count on Football podcast going on tomorrow. We recap week 10 and get ready for week number 11 as well. With the Hand Down Bench or Shooting the Shit podcast, we talk all things not sports, because we all need a sports break every once in a while.
Yeah, that'll be on after this, by the way. We are definitely returning to the bench.
Definitely. A Hand Down Beatdown, a wrestling podcast, which I believe is going to be going on Sunday.
Yes.
To recap NXT and Bud and Gus for AEW. That was a great show on Wednesday. We are on Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and TikTok, and wherever you get your podcast from. So make sure you guys support our affiliate links and us as well. So that is the final horn, and we'll have to step off the ice. Good night, everyone.
All right. See y'all later.